Luckily, Nintendo this year were also releasing their own home console, the very first one they'd ever made if you ignore the other consoles from before this.
All they do is play Pong!
Their new console was the Famicom. The Famicom was the brand new way to play video games at home. No other console had done anything like this. However, this was only released in Japan. Nintendo didn't really have a stake outside of Japan, with video games being in an almost dire state outside of the country. In the US, Atari killed the video game industry with release after release of some of the most horrible video games ever created, and people were getting sick of playing trash after trash. Legend goes that the peak of these horrendous games was a tie-in game for the movie E.T. This game was rushed, and nobody liked it at all. Copies were destroyed and buried just so no one would ever have to play this game, and video games seemed like a completely dead genre at home. Of course, the arcade was still a thriving business, but at home, consoles could never build up to the hype of what we had at the arcade. Back in Japan, Nintendo were trying to figure out a way to release their Famicom worldwide. But with this video game crash in the US, Nintendo knew they had to change something, so they waited 2 years and made it look like a VHS player.